President-elect Donald Trump put out a statement on social media earlier today that reads as follows. When I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with all the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. Now, the former president said criminals coming in his statement, meaning into our country. But to be clear, Molly and Brian, the suspect was born in the United States. He served in the United States Army.
Yeah, so Donald Trump wants to get something from this attack, and so demonizing immigrants. It has to be an immigrant, right? I mean, it has to be. I need that to be true. And so when they were saying, "Oh no, you're so wrong. Oh yeah, that the migrants are worse than the people here," but I was proven right. Except you weren't, because it was a person who was born here. It was a person who served in our military. It was a citizen. Okay, and like. The point of me bringing this up isn't just to be like, nah, you were wrong once again or whatever. It's that maybe there's something there to learn because you were proven wrong specifically about the way you said that the fake news media was unfair to you. So were they unfair to you? Because it kind of looks like we can generate pretty terrible criminals here domestically. Maybe we should have a little bit more attention to that and not to spending every single second of your entire media infrastructure trying to find any migrant who transgresses in the smallest way possible and just hoping beyond hope that any act of criminality will be done by a migrant, because then we can have a whole nother round of demonizing them and generalized xenophobia. And won't that make our country much stronger? Except the thing is, he was dead wrong. He could, if he were a person that ever learned anything from anything, he could learn something. What did he do instead? He went back on Truth Social after doing a bunch of the migrant stuff and then said, Trump was right about everything. You literally were wrong about that. The last thing you did, you were wrong. And the issue here, and I want your thoughts on this, Francesca, like if this was just this, I wouldn't necessarily care. But this is your roadmap to what Donald Trump is going to do when the failures start to pile up. When the incompetence combined with the policies that are designed to benefit a few people and not you start to take their toll on America. Okay, I think people are gonna notice that and they're gonna see what's going on, but they're not gonna do that as a result of Donald Trump just like sitting back and being like, oh, I goofed. No, he's gonna be doing this stuff every single day. It's gonna be xenophobia and turning people against migrants and calling for blood and all of that. And he's not even president yet, and you're already seeing it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're reminded of like the San Bernardino shooting, also by someone who was allegedly ISIS or at least was Muslim, and it didn't matter, right? Trump jumped all over that. I mean, it is endless what Trump will jump over, and a lot of these incidents did happen under his first 4 years, right? And so he's gonna look for any excuse, and that's what we all need to watch for, is what are the excuses that are going to be used in order to restrict all of our freedoms, but in particular, target and go after, yes, asylum seekers, undocumented people, Arabs and Muslims, tale as old as time in this country. So in addition to restricting all of our freedoms when it comes to surveillance, when it comes to our freedoms of speech, when it comes to, and we're already seeing this, the ways that they are using this attack to clamp down and talk about Palestinian protesters or pro-Palestine protesters when it comes to the genocide. So on and on and on and on, and we've spent a year and a half now calling demonstrators on the street against genocide terrorist sympathizers. Yeah. And so like, again, it is all the snowball. So back to our original point, nobody is actually serious about honoring the lives of the people who were killed, right? About truly making sure that we don't have more death, right? And I think it is important that this person, number one, obviously is a brown person. It was converted to Islam. That's gonna be red meat, of course, for Donald Trump and his supporters. But more importantly, was a US Army vet, right? And there is a pattern, as we have seen throughout actually the last 20 years, as the wars we started abroad come home to roost, and the PTSD and the violence that is taught and the militarism and the mindset and the ideologies that are taught in the US military come back and radicalize people. And sometimes it depends. It could be either way, but there's been multiple instances I'm looking up now in 2020 instances I forgot, where a soldier was planning to attack his fellow soldiers and because he was part of a neo-Nazi group. But that's also happened in, not the other direction, but again, to your point, it's if we can see extremism for what it is, whether it's white nationalism, whether it's, religious extremism, these are not two sides, they're the same thing. And there is a pattern when it comes to people who have gone through the US military. So what you're gonna hear in the next few days is, this man was a brown man, ergo, our military is too woke, we should only have white guys, read guys, serving in the military. As if those white guys couldn't also be dangerous neo-Nazis who then, I don't know, storm the Capitol or whatever. So, but again, John, this is the thing. If it's violence done or terrorism done by the person of a religion or race that I support, as Elon Musk supports, then that's not real violence.
Yeah.
But if it's not, then we've got everyone gets to be locked up.
Exactly. And by the way, so I'm just gonna mention this really quickly now, because I don't consider it like confirmed enough to really like do it in our full segment on it. But at least the initial look into the social media activity of the guy in Vegas, it seems like he might have been a right winger. So does that count? Because this one, the ideology is obviously super important. Does the ideology in that one count? And I don't know. Like I honestly think we should have a conversation, and maybe it'll turn out that that's not true. But again, that hypocrisy is amazing. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?